Hey, what's up? It's Symphony here. Subscribe to my brother Mr. Creepy as Hell channel, and when you're watching his videos,
make sure you stay in one piece.
I had a very old car that had a lot of mechanical problems, so it wasn't uncommon to see me at a car shop a whole lot. But the reason why I never got rid of my car is because even though it's an old car, I really do love it. But unfortunately, I had to get rid of it after something really gross and shocking and terrifying all around happened. It was back on Christmas of 2022. It was 3 days before Christmas, and I was going to go on a road trip to see my parents. They lived about 36 hours away from me, so I got in my car and I started driving. For the first 5 hours, everything was okay. For the next 10 hours, everything was okay. It wasn't until I hit 20 hours on the road that's when something happened to my car. A bunch of smoke kept coming out of the engine, and so I had to pull over on the side and get out of my car. I really hated getting out of my car because it was pretty cold. It was just below freezing. Getting out of the car as the wind was hitting up against my face, feeling like knives were cutting my face, I opened up the hood of my car to see a bunch of smoke coming out of it. Fucking great. That's just so fucking great, I said to myself as I was kicking up the dirt from the grass that was on the side of the road. I was really upset because I didn't have the money to have my car fixed. I was ready to just give up on hope when I looked up and realized there was a car mechanic shop not too far from where I was at. It was like maybe a couple of yards from where I was at. So I thought to myself, if I pushed the car enough to get over there, they could probably help me. And what made it even better was it said open 24 hours. So I didn't hesitate. I pushed my car all the way up to the auto mechanic shop. It felt like about 30 minutes until I finally got there. When I looked inside the auto shop, I didn't see anyone at first. When I looked around in the auto shop, I was the only one there. There were no other cars being fixed or taken care of. Matter of fact, I didn't see anyone there. I was the only one in this shop. I thought maybe it was closed and that maybe someone just forgot to lock up or something. Just as I was about to pull out my phone, I heard someone call out to me. "How can I help you, sir?" A raspy voice called out to me. I turned around and my eyes met with a man who had a gray-white ponytail, a bandana wrapped around his head. He had a cigar on the side of his mouth and an unkempt beard. Yes, I was wondering if you can fix my car, sir. My engine went out and I really need to get somewhere, and I'm willing to pay you anything if you can get it fixed as soon as possible. I explained to the man about my situation. After I got done explaining to him, he looked at me for a second, then he turned towards my car. He walked over to my car and opened up the hood of the car. He looked at it for a few seconds, then he looked back at me, raising one eyebrows. "I can get this fixed for you, but it's gonna cost you a pretty penny. You're willing to pay anything, right?" The mechanic asked me with a smile on his face. "I'm willing to pay anything, sir. Just get it fixed, please. I need to be somewhere." "Alright then. I'll go ahead and take care of this. I'll get it done within an hour. I'm gonna need you to sit somewhere far away from the mechanic shop. I'm about to work on a car, and sometimes the stuff that I use may cause some chemical smells, and I don't want you inhaling that without the proper equipment. So you just wait over there, and I'll be done within 30 minutes, the mechanic said to me. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was kind of weird how he wanted me far away from the area he was working on my car with, and why he didn't want me to see him working on my car. But I tried to just chalk it up as he wanted to really get to work and get done within an hour, especially since he was accommodating me, and he seemed like a really nice person. So I followed what he told me to do. I went on the other side of the auto shop, and I sat in a little waiting room until he got done with my car. An hour and a half had passed, and I had not been called to come get my car. I thought maybe he was still working on it. So I got up from the waiting area and I went over to the area where he works on the cars. And when I got there, I saw my car sitting there, but I didn't see the man. I walked it towards my car and there was a note attached to it. It says that your car is all fixed. You're free to go. Now, this was weird. Of all the times I visit mechanic shops, they've never left your car unattended, especially leaving a note behind. I really was kind of weirded out by that, but I paid it no mind. I slowly got inside my car. I started up the engine and it worked it perfectly. The guy knew what he was doing, and I had to say, he was really good at his job. So I got on the road and I was trying to make my way to go see my parents. About 9 hours into the drive after visiting that mechanic, I noticed there was a weird smell that started coming out of nowhere. I didn't know where it was coming from at first, but the smell was really bad. It smelled like rotten flesh or rotten meat. It was so strong to the point I had to pull over and throw up because the smell was nauseating. I tried to search for the smell and I couldn't find it at first. But that's when I noticed when I got closer to the hood of my car, the smell gotten stronger. I didn't know what was going on. So I thought maybe my car was having troubles again, which that would really suck because I don't have any money to pay for another car repair. I noticed that the smell was more stronger by the hood of the car. So, without any hesitation, I opened up the hood of the car to see what was going on. And let me just tell you, I really regret doing that. When I opened it up, the smell was immensely strong. It was like you opening up a jar and an air of stench was punching you in the face. When I opened up the hood of the car, the smell was really unbearable. And I held my nose and trying to keep myself from vomiting again. I looked down at the hood of the car, and what I saw will remain traumatizing for me for as long as I can live. This image will be forever etched in my mind. It was a rotten corpse that had maggots all over its body. I retched, barely making it into the grass. I retched until I couldn't anymore. And then, as I was dialing 911, it all came back to me. It had to have been that auto mechanic that put that inside of my hood of my car. I called the police, and they came about 45 minutes later. I gave them my statement and how I think that the auto mechanic was the one that was behind this. After that, the officers, well, one of them, gave me a ride to my parents' place. I really am thankful for that officer for helping me out. Meanwhile, come to find out, the man who was working as an auto mechanic was an auto mechanic, but he was wanted for murder. Apparently, he murdered his wife. Of course, they found the body of his wife. This corpse that they found was a different woman. They believed that he also killed her as well. A couple of months later, the man was found and arrested, which I'm glad. I am very funny about mechanics working on my car now after this situation, and I always make sure I watch them work on my car since that incident. Since that incident also, I've gotten me a newer car. I don't have to worry too much about repairs or anything like that. My advice to you is, if something seems off, go with your gut instincts. Don't ignore them.